It's not about tactics, it's not about midfield, it's about a reaction mentality to bounce back, show resilience, and get a result.
Struggling, it's just not making sense. It's not making sense. I kind of feel like you're preparing us for disaster. Again, it's not about tactics, and then you're talking about discipline. But for you, how do you execute discipline without tactics? I don't really understand that. Like, how does one execute discipline without referring to the tactics, as in the game plan? It's not really making sense. There goes the optimism. Our hero, I will be talking a little bit more about Andre Blake before I close off on the show, but I think we should go ahead and talk about Leon Bailey. They're a very humble post-match interview there from Leon Bailey. You can go ahead and listen to this one with me before we continue with the rest of the show. Okay?
Player of the match, congratulations for the result and of course for being the player of the match. Please give us your impression of this match.
First of all, thank you, but honestly, I appreciate it. I won player of the match, but today for me, the player of the match is Andre Blake. For me personally, because he held us in the game today, and if it wasn't for him today, we wouldn't really got nothing out of the game. So, but as you can see, we have a lot of work to do. We felt strong from the very beginning of the game, but as you can see towards the end, it got really bad for us, and we were hanging on. And this is not how, if we want to win games, this is not how we have to compete. We have to be more dominant, and I think there's a lot of work to do, and I think we just have to realize that quick and try to do that and come back stronger for the next game.
It was a difficult game, how to face the last match of group stage.
Yeah, it's difficult, but you know, we got the 3 points, which was most important, obviously, but in terms of performance, I think we have a lot more work to do, and if we want to win the game on the 24th, we have to definitely come back stronger, work harder, and ensure that in moments like that we are stronger and we show more fighting spirit, more strength, more togetherness. And hopefully we can do that in the next game.
Andre Blake, before this one slips my mind, again, it saved the day for us. Mr. Captain, fantastic hero, keeper, Andre the Giant, instrumental for me, to us, not only winning the game and keeping our hopes of progressing to the knockout stage, but he undoubtedly kept us in the lead, and he kept us from potentially another embarrassing scoreline. Almost had the assist. So I think you can't argue against what Bailey said when he said, you know, that actually the man of the match should have gone to Andre Blake. I'm not sure how they voted that one for Bailey to be the man of the match. I am not begrudging Leon Bailey, by the way. I don't really think there's much to argue about, but my man of the match would have been Andre Blake. But big ups to Leon Bailey. It's his award, and I hope that he holds on to it because he deserves it. And as I said, as it relates to the hero keeper there, Andre Blake saved us, in my opinion, from letting a crucial win slip through our fingers. In terms of the negatives there, as with the positives, you have the negatives. I think there was some you could identify a number of negatives within that performance there, irrespective of the victory. Defensively, I think we have some vulnerability at the back, and I'm saying that because if we didn't have some vulnerability pertaining to our defense, we wouldn't need our goalkeeper, our captain, to come up clutch, and he came up clutch on a number of occasions. And if you want to be honest with yourself, yes, I understand, you know, if you're a patriot, whatever, pat yourself on the back. But when you're looking at a scoreline that says 2-1, it tells you, whether you like it or not, that the game was won by fine margins. You know, the stats speak for themselves, not just the scoreline, but the stats most importantly. And I'm not really someone to always drum home on stats, but I think if you want to be fair, if you want to be honest, you want to give credit where credit is due and not just gloss over last night's results, you be admitting that, you know, let truth be told, we won this one by fine margins. Had it not been for the intervention of VAR, start, which I think quite possibly saved us, I think we might have been looking at an embarrassing scoreline. And I'm saying embarrassing scoreline, but perhaps we need to humble ourselves there, because football in the Caribbean region, as I said, is improving. So yes, we are improving, but so are our neighbors and so on. So that one there was ruled offside, thank heavens, by VAR. But I think that goal should have stood. Again, I've not rewatched it, but at first glance, it looked like that one should have stood. And in terms of the negatives there, inconsistent. We are guilty as charged when it comes to inconsistency. Not really sure which Jamaica is going to show up. Even with Panama next up on the horizon, I can't tell you which Jamaica is going to show up. I can't tell you if they're going to play down or play up. I'm not really sure why they do that. I'm not sure why they do the whole playing down to their opponents, playing up to them. You're up for a fight when it's the bigger boys, but when you're dealing with teams, no disrespect, that's lesser than you play down to them. I'm not sure if that's to do with overconfidence. I'm not sure if that's a lack of respect, thinking that you're the big I am. But when you do things like that, when you play down to your lesser opponents and play up to your, whether you want to say, opponents that's equal to you or bigger than you, in the grand scheme of things, you just look like all bark, no bite. You just look like a flat track bully. So I do hope that we get that out of our system and just do the necessary. When it's time to batter a team, batter them, and stop toying with people, because they're not toying with us at all. And the more we play down to these opponents, what's going to happen is you're just encouraging the other team to take a pop at you, because they're going to be looking and saying, if Guatemala can do that, if Guadeloupe can do that, what can we do? Surely we can have a say in this as well. So again, inconsistent in terms of the negatives there. I think individual brilliance, you can call it negative and positive depending on the context. It's great that we do have some players there that can generate some individual brilliance, but you don't want to always ride your luck on individual brilliance. So again, context is everything. So it can't just be a case of in terms of individual brilliance, we're looking at Blake, Bailey, Gray, and so on. Of course, these players are they tend to be heavily relied upon. It is the nature of the game, their name, and so on. So it's a given. But at the end of the day, football is a team sport, and I think again, Blake to Bailey, that pass there from the goalkeeper to Leon Bailey, which unfortunately didn't find the back of the net. I think that kind of tell its own story there in terms of that individual brilliance. Tactics, that is something that is still weighing heavy on my mind, because the gaffer came into the game against Guadeloupe, an absolute must-win match, and paraphrasing from his pre-match press conference, he quite clearly stated to us that it's not about tactics. I don't really know what he meant by that. Only he himself can tidy that one up. But in terms of tactics for last night's game, I think we are vulnerable, and you can see that we're vulnerable because we conceded first. Irrespective of the outcome of the match, the facts don't lie, end results don't lie. We conceded first, so there's probably a question there pertaining to the overall energy of the team. And again, I asked you guys a question there last night. I don't think any of you answered it. I said, paraphrasing, why are tactics important in football? I don't know if anyone wants to answer tonight, but for me, tactics in football is crucial, because they, in essence, provide a structured game plan, or at least they should provide a structured game plan which allows the team to do a number of things. So one of those number of things is to maximize their strength, and upon maximizing your strength, you would then be able to exploit your opponent's weaknesses. And also, if you're working with tactics, you should be able to coordinate individual efforts into cohesive team performance. I think we heard Bailey speaking on the lack of cohesiveness, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that stems from tactics. How do you build cohesion? That stems from tactics. Who gives you the tactics? The head coach and his his backroom staff. So again, tactics is absolutely important in football, not just because of maximizing one's strengths and exploiting your opponent weakness, but also it puts you in a position where you can adapt to changing game situations or scenarios, and looking and assessing and looking at how you can get the better of your opponent's strategies. And as it relates to tactics, it puts you, if you get it right, if you study your opponent, you should be able to figure out how to control the flow of the game. So when you're talking about controlling the flow of the game and tactics in mind, you're talking about things like your position, your possession, your defensive solidity, as well as your attacking thrust. Those are a couple of things I think that comes into mind when you talk about tactics. So when he's coming out and saying it's not about tactics, I'm not really sure what Steve McLaren is on, to be honest with you.